Well, this episode, we're thrilled to be joined by two-time Pirate All-Star closer David Bednar, who is enjoying our featured smoke of the week. And this, David Bednar, is the number 6 here at Bird by Rocky.
It's pretty. Oh yeah,
it's the Marte. We'll tell Rocky that's what we're going to call it now. It was voted the best Honduran cigar by Cigar Journal in 2020, given 93 points by Cigar Aficionado. It's a Honduran-grown Corojo wrapper with Nicaraguan and Honduran binder and filler, medium body cigar. It's a really good smoke. What do you think so far? Now, Dave, you're not like a real aficionado, but you like this smoke.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to guess this is Honduran.
No, yeah. In fact, that's what we said. We handed him the number 6 and goes, oh, the Marte, the Honduran. Yeah.
He's got the palate for it already.
Yeah.
You hear the crowd back there going,
they're fired up.
They're fired up.
So, well, congratulations. Recently, you got through the arbitration process. You enjoyed a real honeymoon. What was the off season like?
So far, it's been great. Just relaxing. Like what I was saying earlier, we took a trip to Italy, kind of our real honeymoon, and that was an unbelievable experience. And, other than that, took a little trip to Nashville, and then just been going to a lot of Steelers games, some Pens games mixed in there too. So it's been a great off season.
How about doing Italy? How was Italy great or what?
Just unbelievable. Just the history, the food, just everything. I thought the craziest part was, you go out to eat and then you're walking around right after and you see a building that was built in the year like 27 that's still standing, like, pristine.
They built things different back then.
It's really unbelievable, and just the food, just everything was so fresh. Big food guy. It's fresh.
What was your favorite food there?
I mean, when we were in Florence, what is this place? And it's some like truffle gnocchi and like a big T-bone steak, like a Florentine steak. Oh,
come on!
Just all the apps, the bread, the oil, the wine, just everything, just so fresh and unbelievable.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I know.
Now that's your kind of first trip to Europe. But Casey, she's more of a traveler than you, right?
Yeah, she's way more of a traveler. So that was my first time, and thankfully, she was kind of directing traffic, and she was she did all the legwork. I was really impressed because we got there, and I was like, all right, what are we doing? She had the whole itinerary booked and all the things booked, and so it was awesome. She spent some time in Barcelona. She went to Paris. So she's traveled a little bit. I got North Hills, South Hills. I got that down.
Got the North Shore down.
Yeah. This trip to Europe is going through the Fort Pitt tunnels.
Yeah. If I got to go through a tunnel, that's way too far.
Well, it's funny because people consider you a Mars guy, and I guess you are now. But you're a rare breed because you're a South Hills born guy.
Oh yeah.
But,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a Lebo guy, bro.
Oh, okay.
So do you like to let the word out, or is that?
He said it very hesitant. He said, yeah.
No, I'll take some ties to Lebo, and then my dad's from the Rocks, and mom's from over St. Clair, so I got some ties to all the South Hills and shout out the Rocks. And,
It makes me like it better now.
Yeah, no, through and through, definitely more of a Mars guy, though. Mike Planet's baby.
Do you spend, of course, it's different now that you're married, but do you get an opportunity still to spend time with mom and dad, sister, brother Will, who's in the minor leagues with the Giants? Do you still get a chance to see everybody during the off season?
Yeah. Family and friends that have been so supportive throughout the whole thing. They're all able to come, and then in the off season, kind of the same thing. I mean, they're 10, 15 minutes from us, so try to make a point to stop by and spend some time with them. Casey's parents, who are in Mars as well. So it's been awesome. It's been a great off season, kind of relaxing. And then my siblings are around now. Will's home for the off season, and Danielle's a sophomore at Louisville. So she just went back. But yeah, it's around the holidays. It's a lot of family time, so it's been really cool.
It's neat that David doesn't sound like he has any interest or intent on leaving the Pittsburgh area.
No.
And we got a guy here, Michael McKenry, of course, the former Pirates catcher who now makes his home in Pittsburgh. He and his wife Jacqueline.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've talked to Bob Walk about this over the years. Bob could never understand why you've got everything you need here in Western Pennsylvania. Why in the world would you want to go somewhere? And Bob's from
It's
California.
paradise.
Yeah,
It's paradise. What more could you want? You know, you get all the seasons. You got all the sports teams are black and gold.
Now, of course, it helps that you get to go
Don't
to Florida
forget,
in the middle of February.
You have Icy
don't
Light.
forget
That's
that.
the only
Of
plug.
course, yeah.
You got the
best.
Icy Light.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you got,
Cheers,
you
my
got
friend.
Burned by Rocky Patel.
Oh,
You got Leonard Lee, our producer here behind the scenes. We're talking to David Bednar and enjoying our number 6 that Fort has. Fort loves nicknames, by the way.
I do.
He's got
I do.
nicknames for Fort, but he'll
I do.
That's a good one.
fire nicknames. So right away, number 6 is a Marte.
It's the
former
Marte.
Pirate.
Yeah, we got the Renegade here. I mean, this
We got
is
the
absolutely
Renegade here.
perfect. It's a
Speaking
great
of the
day.
Renegade, got 1,000 questions for you. I know you've answered 1,000 of them, but when you got traded over,
Gotcha.
Got me.
yeah.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, I know. Not.
Yeah, I was with Fort the first
Unexperienced.
time he had a smoke.
Mine was
It was not easy.
my first couple were this summer. Him and Steve Blast used to smoke before games and just talk about everything. Really, just I guess solve the world's problems is what you guys
solve
did.
the-
absolutely.
Usually a president would call in, ask their advice.
David, before we go on the air, we solve the world's problems. We moan and gripe and everything else, and then
Hey, it's go time.
We flipped the switch.
It's showtime,
It's go
baby.
time. Exactly.
so you
It's
guys
like
have
our
your
warm-up.
routines,
Yeah,
right?
you guys have
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But so anyway, he had an opportunity to have his first cigar earlier this summer, and it
I
wasn't
did.
he's
Wow.
he's adapted very
Yeah,
well.
now you're a pro.
Yeah.
I like to pretend like I am. That's for sure. I like to
You
pretend.
fake it till you make it. just like
Exactly.
everything,
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I have to be tough. Pittsburgher now.
Right? Hey, now you're gritty.
Yeah,
You got the
exactly.
grit
I'm
now.
a gritty guy now.
Absolutely.
So now you get the trade over from the Padres to the Pirates, and you're not named the closer right away. It takes some time. What is that process like when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, what do you want to use for your walk-in use?"
Hey, real quick, I remember somebody, me and you, talking about guy was a closer right out of camp.
Oh yeah,
Hey, you remember that?
It's-
We said that guy's going to be the end.
No, as soon as
That
we
guy's
saw it,
going
we
to
go,
shut
"Wait a
it
second."
down.
We know.
Yeah.
Hey, you got
Obviously, the Pirates knew it too. but-
Yeah,
well,
and you kept working
didn't
on the
say
breaking ball. I didn't even know the splitter was there that much. You didn't throw it that much. I'm like, and he's got a splitter. We were all in at that moment. I'll never
man,
forget it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Just saw it.
that splitter, by the way, you said was it Hideo Nomo
Oh yeah.
who taught you the splitter? How about that?
That's so cool. How'd
Yeah.
that happen?
So this was right after I got drafted. It was like your first instructional league camp, and I had same mix, fastball, curveball. I was throwing like a slider that was just very similar to my curveball, like slow. And during catch play, one of the things I always tried to work on is trying to find like a change up or like a harder slider, like a harder out pitch. And I was really struggling with it. And and then so one day, like we were at Instructs, I was just messing around with like a splitter instead of a changeup. I could never get like the pronation down to throw a changeup. And our pitching coordinator, Eric Young, was like, "Hey, I know you're trying to throw a splitter. We got this guy who,
You got a guy.
Yeah, we got a guy.
we got a guy, Hideo Nomo, ever heard of him? He had a pretty good splitter, I guess, But yeah, no. So, and then one bullpen, like right after he showed me his grip and kind of we talked through, what his like visual process was and what he thought and everything like that. And it was just one of those things that it's not like a feel. You just kind of just rip it like a down heater. And it kind of just it clicked right away. And that was kind of the key to climbing the 3 different speeds and separation between them. And it helped me immensely. I mean, that was huge. And so he was still a special assistant. So he would kind of come to an affiliate 2 or 3 times a year. And, every time I'd throw a little side before the game or whatever, and we kind of refine it, just talk just little adjustments and how the grip was going. And yeah, no, so that's kind of how that came to be. And it's really cool and just kind of crazy how it all happened.
When that happens, Dave, you say it kind of clicks right away, essentially, when Hideo Nomo shows you this. And when this happens,
Yeah, you
is
don't
this
hear that
like-
a lot with splitters.
what kind of a moment is like, you go like, this is a game changer, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I was like, man, that's actually looks pretty good out of the hand. And like the coordinator was there too, and he was like, that looks pretty good. And funny enough, I think I have the video somewhere because he just took a video on his phone, and just so like I would just have it and can look back to some of the cues and stuff like that. So just a really cool moment altogether.
A dumb question, maybe, but was Nomo speaking some English?
He speaks good English. He had his translator there,
Okay.
but he definitely understood what I was saying. I think it was just to get the true point across and what. But yeah, no, he spoke good English.
Yeah. What were some of the cues? I always love that. And here's a ball if you want to play around with it.
Yeah. So his grip it's a little unconventional. And then another guy.
And you stuck with that grip?
Yeah. So another
wow.
guy that I was with the Padres, Kirby Yates, who had a really good splitter.
Really good splitter.
Yeah, still has a really good splitter.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to be with both of those guys, and in the minor leagues it was the Nomo one, but also kind of talking to Kirby and picking his brain and seeing how he just how he attacked guys and what he thought to change it. But the more traditional grip is kind of like just splitting the seams almost. And that's kind of Kirby kind of hooks it a little bit. But the one that he showed me was kind of holding it like a fastball. Sorry, this will be this way. And then just shifting it over. And it kind of clicked for me because I like feeling the seams on my fingers.
That makes sense.
And I'm able just to stay behind it and just rip
it down?
right through it, just like a fastball, right kind of down the middle. And mine's a little bit goofy. Sometimes it cuts, sometimes very rarely it goes arm side, sometimes it'll go straight down. But one of the things I've picked up over the past couple of years is just whatever it wants to do it. As long as it's to the bottom of the zone, it's going to have some downward action. And if it cuts, great. If it goes arm side, great. Go straight down. As long as it does something, I'm happy. And it's the grip I've stuck with, and obviously some modifications as you kind of go and as you go throughout the season. Mainly with like thumb placement of is it more towards the bottom to the top, and the balls also have a little bit of impact because everyone's a little bit different.
Everyone's
so, like,
a little different.
Sometimes it just like when it's sitting in your hand, just like maybe I just need a little bit more on the side. Sometimes it's a little bit under. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just getting on top of it and just ripping it. Like it's as simple as it is.
So it's a fastball thought.
Yes,
the whole time.
And so I think that's why it kind of clicked for me. And just trying to just rip it right down through the catcher and staying with everything I throw, I try and stay in that lane. So it kind of fell right into that. And, so yeah, it's been really effective, throughout the minor leagues, and it's helped me.
Yeah. It's just gotten better.
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
opinion. Last 2 years, it's taken almost a life of its own.
To be clear, you want it down in the zone, you said.
Yes.
Because I'm amazed in the last few years, it seems to me that a lot of guys, maybe unintentionally, are throwing splitters that appear up in the zone, and maybe it just works. And it almost gives you the impression, are these guys intentionally trying to throw the splitter up?
It's for, at least for me, I'm always trying to rip it to the bottom, but sometimes you just don't get that rip through it, and it just kind of squeaks out. But then it's a kind of a happy accident, like a backup slider almost.
It's miserable when it kind of floats up.
Yeah, but
you want it to float into your barrel because that's one of the hardest pitches to see because they're so aggressive with the hand speed. So you can't see it. That's why with him, you're trying to catch up to 98, 99, probably chest high. And then even if it's there, Brownie, it's 10 miles an hour different.
Sure.
And it's going,
it just seems to me
just spits out at you.
Many, many years ago, when I was even watching, like Bruce Sutter was the guy that was credited with, the modern day splitter. It was always a pitch that was down in the zone in the dirt. You never saw, rarely a split, but oftentimes for whatever reason, and it seems to work, as you say, maybe because of pitch speed and so on. And that's all. It's all about fooling guys. Who's the guy that threw a splitter when you caught that you really thought this was nasty?
One of the you guys might not even know is the lefty Reynolds. He's from Tennessee. Went to
that's not
Austin
Matt
P.
Reynolds.
Yeah, Matt Reynolds.
Okay.
Yep. He had one of the best split fingers I've ever seen because every time he threw it, it was in the same plane and fell off the charts. I mean, almost. He was so consistent with it. I've never seen anything like it. There's guys with power splitters, guys like him who can get away with a little bit more, but he couldn't. he was 88 to 92, but he got to big leagues because that splitter. Same thing. Really good slider, really good splitter, played off his fastball, but the best splitter I ever saw because every time I'm blocking it.
David, how important is it to have a guy that can catch confident, regardless, guy at third base, I'm throwing that splitter or the curveball, whatever it is.
Curveball
To have a catcher that you have confidence in.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I think especially whenever there's guys on second and third, and especially later in the game, whenever you can't afford to have a pass ball and guys advance a base, and it's because it gives you that little extra oomph on the end where, you know, it's just not even in your head, oh, I can't bounce this. You're making an aggressive pitch no matter what, and if it happens to be in the dirt, you're trusting the guy behind the plate to block it and keep it in front. And I think that goes a long way, especially in terms of more or less just the conviction of the pitch.
Do you hear what he said? Pass ball. That's what they all are. There is no wild pitch. All pass balls. They get by you.
That's what
exactly
always
right,
said.
Bednar.
That's fair.
That's that gritty Pittsburgh in it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
one
right.
way. That's it. Keep it in front.
Well, he's also a rare closer in that you've got 3 premium pitches.
That's something that boggles my mind because you could probably sit there all day. There's not many guys that run it up 98, 99 and can touch 100 that have a feel breaking ball. You have a feel breaking ball, bro. I don't get it, and I want everybody to see your grip. Nobody believed me, but it's a different grip too, right? Do you hold a little bit different?
I changed the grip up a little bit. So
It almost looks like a football changeup when you throw it. when you get out in front, it looks like you're holding it like a football.
I do know my grips. It's pretty standard. It's just kind of just ripping that seam with my middle finger. I made the adjustment to go a little bit more deeper in my hand.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I saw that this year. I was like,
It
no
was
way.
like kind of towards the end of the year because it wasn't having the same bite that I wanted it to have, and so I grabbed it a little bit deeper, and I've been able to make it a little bit tighter. But throughout my whole life, no matter how hard I've tried, I could not throw a curveball that was like harder than 80. Like it just wouldn't.
It's amazing. That's a gift.
Oh, I used to be like, come on, like just give me a hard banger. Now it's like it's a nice change of pace.
It's huge. Yeah.
No, so it's just one of those things that you know, growing up, my dad was always in on like are we spin the baseball right, like making sure like the like that he called it like the last 10%, and it was always like we spin the baseball right, and then we'd always like play catch the curveball and make sure it was like in that same lane, and just spinning the baseball like right and making sure it's in that lane and path, and yeah, no, that's kind of still my same thought process is just ripping that seam, and you know, like I said with the splitter and the heater, just keeping it all just north south and keeping it through the catcher.
It's amazing.
You go out,
So
David.
good.
So you're called on. Renegade's playing PNC Park. When you go to the mound, you've already thrown in the bullpen. In the back of your mind, you're thinking, "Okay, splitter's good, but or are you always going to the mound thinking, I got all 3 in my back pocket? Or do you know, when you arrive to the mound and you start warming up with the catcher, what's your thought process?
So I guess that all kind of starts in the bullpen, and it goes from, okay, I'm just trying to get my arm going, like making sure the heater's true. I'm not cutting it. I'm not letting it run arm side.
And can you see that? A lot of guys can't. You can see that immediately. That's awesome.
For the most part. And then also Mess, our bullpen coach, is on it too. So it's like if I'm seeing something a little bit goofy, I'll ask him, and you know, he'll let me know whether it's okay, you're seeing it, or if it's good. And then in the bullpen, it's just like, okay, I'm just trying to feel the spin for it. It doesn't have to be bangers off the rip, but as long as it's got that right direction. And then kind of same thing with the splitter. It's just, is it down, and am I getting that late action on it? You know, not trying to be too fine in the bullpen, because you know, it's always the times whenever you're absolute nails out there, you go to the mound, and it's like it's a spray chart. But yeah, so it's kind of just getting like kind of dialing it in from the bullpen, and then once you get on the mound, you have your 8, and it's like, okay, two heaters. Okay, I just want to see it backspun through the catcher. Curveball. Whenever I'm warming up, I just wanted to make sure I'm kind of landing. I have that have it in the strike zone, and then splitter, same thing, just getting to the bottom of the zone, and then it's usually like, okay, I always throw 2 of each. So like if the first one's not what I want, I make sure I have that, make that correction, and the second one is, you know, even if it's just a little bit overcorrection, I know where that feel is. I got to get to whenever the batter steps in, and but it's never like, oh man, I don't have this pitch because it's just warm ups.
Well,
you don't truly know until a batter steps in and it's go time.
We're talking. Okay, so Renegade. How does that happen?
Well, when I got traded over, I think it was Jimmy T who asked me.
Jim Tredinich, longtime Pirate employee.
He asked me. He goes, "What do you want your walkout to be?" And I didn't really put too much thought into it, but I was like, "Wait, this is a no-brainer." Like, I love the Steelers.
Wow.
I know exactly. I know what.
I know where I'm going with this.
Absolutely, and it's it always got me fired up at Steeler games, and it still does. So it was just automatic, and that's kind of just where it started. And
did you think it would morph into what it's gotten into? It's like crazy how much people love it, and
it's so different. It's so perfect.
Wild.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and
really
obviously
is.
the song hits a little bit different here in Pittsburgh, and it gets the Injers going. That's for sure.
No
And
doubt.
that's really what it's all about. And honestly, it gets me going. I just think of whenever it comes on, like get me in the dialed in. I think of like James Harrison sacking Joe Flacco, and I'm like, oh, let's go.
So you get all fired up. I love it. I love it. I want to. Let's go back. So, seventh inning, eighth inning. What's the routine? You see that it's either tie ball game or we're ahead. What are you doing to get ready? What's the mindset to try to get, I guess, into it? Because you go from 0 to 100.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of comes with time, is figuring out like, okay, when, no matter what I'm doing, like a base, just getting ready, because the worst thing ever is getting caught off guard, and
Right.
it's just unacceptable. Also, it's like, come on, like you gotta be ready to pitch.
No doubt.
But it's kind of over the past kind of 2 years, I've been able to kind of refine my pre-pitch routine, and it's kind of started whenever I wasn't throwing like the 7th, 8th, 9th. It's okay. Like I know I have to be ready to pitch by this inning. So like what do the 2 or 3 previous innings look like? And so now it turns into like in the 6th inning, I'll go in the tunnel right behind the bullpen, roll out with like a lacrosse ball or baseball, whatever, just kind of get it going, then sit with a massage gun and just make sure like the body's just loose. And then in the 7th, I will I'll run around a little bit, do some jog, back pedal, shuffle, all that good stuff, get the legs moving. And then in the bottom half, I'll do my J bands and throw some plyo balls, or just throw my plyo ball. I just have a 2-pound ball that I just like just chucking against the wall. Just
cannonball for you. It's cannonball.
Yeah.
Just simple, and just if I'm feeling good with that, then the baseball is no problem. And also it's like if I know it's banging against the wall, it's just like get that loud thud. I'm like, oh, let's go. We're good to go.
I love it.
And then
we have way too much in common. That's so good.
And then in the 8th, as soon as Holderman goes out there, I'll throw some like 4 or 6 pound medicine balls against the wall, just kind of really getting it going. And then as soon as phone rings, Bednar get hot. It's 3 of my 2-pound ball throws, just about as hard as I can into the wall, and then it's go time. It's 3 with the catcher up, one or 2 with them down, and then a couple heaters, couple curveballs, couple splitters, and then
So you don't waste time.
no,
I love it.
just right into it.
Yeah.
All right. Pirates lead by 1 run. Bottom of the 8th inning. You're loosening up. You're going to close the top of the 9th at PNC Park. Suddenly there's a rally. Pirates score. 2nd and 3rd. They now have a 3-run lead. 1 out. So there it is. 3-run lead. Bottom of the 8th inning. Closing situation still in play. But you are a fly ball away from losing a closing save opportunity. You're going to tell me that doesn't go through your mind? No, come on. I don't want another run. I want to save this sucker.
No, we'll take anyone we can get on, whatever it takes.
I always wonder that. I'm watching like, come on, you're a closer. It's your job. And all of a sudden, there's a save taken away from me.
I think that'll come in. That comes into play more of like if somebody else is going to go in, if it's up 4, or like what the previous workload is like, or if save
Sometimes
only
it helps
or plus
you
4, or
get a day off, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but not really a day off because the Pirates keep track of all this stuff. All teams do this, but so even if you're loosening up in the bullpen and don't come into the game, they kind of count that as an up.
I think it depends on how hot you get and what I think they.
And you have to know that in your own mind too, right?
Yeah, and I think that's also kind of part of really knowing your body and knowing what you need to get in. And I think it's kind of in those situations, I always like to be like 2 or 3 away from being hot, and not getting into overdrive. And we get a rally and we score 6 runs in the 9th, and it's like, okay, we're gonna send whoever's had the 8th back out there. I think it's so then you're able to be fresh the next day, and then if you need to go back to back, it's all about kind of like being as ready as possible, but also knowing what that limit is of, okay, I can still throw this many pitches and be good to go if I need to go back to back the next 2 days or however it works, because you just never know.
How long did that take you to learn? Because it's a big
Just gonna say that's
transition
process too in itself.
from minor leagues to big leagues, maybe bigger than ever, because they're kind of protecting you down there.
Yeah.
You're probably
Oh,
never
without
going to
doubt.
throw 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Over here, you may throw 4 in a row in the big league. So how did you kind of adapt to that? Because you kind of changed roles pretty quickly. I mean, you started out where you're kind of later innings, then you moved in that 8th and then in the 9th. How'd you figure that out?
I think it goes to just looking at my teammates. I was fortunate in San Diego to have some good veteran guys around, and some guys who have been there, done that, and kind of had a variety of roles. Like I said, Kirby earlier, like when I came up in September of 19, like that was his all-star year. He was absolutely doing it. He had like a 1 with a billion punch outs. And so like I got to watch that, him just kind of go about his business and how he prepared kind of day in, day out. And then kind of same thing with Craig Stammen's another guy who
That guy's a legend to me.
Oh man.
He pitch every day. Pitch every day with that goofy arm action.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Just have so much respect for him and just how he just grinded every single day. And that was something I really looked up to. And, I was fortunate to, spend some time with him and, just watch how he went about his business. And I think that's kind of how you learn the most, is watching guys who have been there, done that, and have had success in the big leagues for a long time, and kind of able to go from there. And then, once I got to Pittsburgh, still having, those guys to look up to, and like, Chris Stratton was a great guy to just watch how, he'd take the ball every day. And I think, it's not always just during the game, it's watching them get their prehab, watching them take care of their business in the weight room, see the training staff, like get all the little stuff that, adds up over time. Because 162 is a grind, and you gotta take it. And if taking a day here and there is not a big deal, but if you kind of have that mentality, once or twice a week, it's like it catches up to you at the end. So just watching those guys kind of go about it, and like I said, just watching them go about it, their business, and learning just by watching is big. And then once I got to Pittsburgh, it was like I said, that 21, I was kind of throwing all over the place. So just kind of being ready for whatever, whenever. And that was my first full season. So I was just kind of like getting a candy store, like just happy to be there. Whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you need.
I mean, and obviously that's still my mantra. Whenever the phone rings, I'm dialed in, I'm ready to go. But, it really took over in 22, just kind of just figuring out, that's kind of when I started throwing more exclusively kind of like the 8-9, those leverage innings, and going from there. And you kind of just figure out as you go, what you need to be ready for that any given day, and what you need to do to be ready for the next day and the next day and the next day. And how each one kind of the domino effect of how that all happens is really huge. And you kind of only learn by just going through it and figuring out what you need on that day.
I love it, Brownie.
David,
I love it.
at what point did you start to think to yourself, I may end up being the closer?
I got a couple save opportunities in 21. I was like, it's pretty cool. I
like this.
I like this.
This is awesome. No, I think it kind of started there, and it's like, you never really know if your stuff's good enough until you actually go out there and do it, and then that transforms into having the confidence in all of your stuff and knowing that you can get anybody out at any time, and then that turns into being put in those leverage situations, which are way different than obviously every out's hard to get, but it definitely. That was my first taste in 21 of those innings was definitely kind of eye opening, and seeing how the hitters approach those innings a little bit more, and just knowing what their mindset is and what they're trying to do. Cause that's one of the bigger things I learned this past year is, just how to adjust to what they're looking for. And cause this game's a never ending game of cat and mouse, and who's going to try and figure out you. Cause just as we have scouting reports on them, they have scouting reports on us. And you always kind of just got to play that constant cat and mouse game.
Well, since you went that way, there was a game this year, the Cubs. They were catching up to your heater, and they were kind of yanking everything, pull aside. You did make an adjustment. You started throwing your breaking ball more, got them off balance. But when you're going into a game, whether it's the Cubs, the Cardinals, whoever you're facing, do you have a pretty good idea what you want to do with certain guys who you face well, who maybe has a upper hand on you? Or do you just kind of put all that on the catcher and just say, hey, this is my stuff, I'm going to go out and compete?
For the most part, we do a good job of doing scouting reports, obviously before every series. So I'll take my notes, and I'll, before each series, I'll go through each hitter and, figure out, okay, I need to do this to this guy, this to this guy. Like, some things are better than others. Like maybe this guy handles heaters up. So, take that with a grain of salt. Like, it doesn't mean I'm not going to throw heaters up, but
you're going to throw that Brunswick in there. Yeah. He can't hit that Brunswick. Let's go.
That's a good one.
It's a different fastball. Yeah. Worked on that spin your entire life.
You love that Brunswick.
Yeah,
I like that.
Heater,
I like that one.
Yeah.
No, but it's just kind of knowing, who you're facing, and then knowing the situation too. That's something I learned this year is, or the past 2 years is, 1-run lead, 2-run leads, like how aggressive can you be, and and pick and choosing your spots to go right after guys, and the high risk, high reward, or for the most part, it's like you're not gonna. If somebody has a lot of swing and miss and it's a 1-run game, but that's also where their slug is, probably not the best spot to go.
Right.
But we do a lot of preparation, and for the most part, we're always on the same page with the catchers, because that's kind of what that meeting's for. And then kind of throughout the game, we're kind of looking at the iPad, looking at trends. If some guy's doing something completely different that's not in his scouting report, it's like we're kind of talking about that throughout the bullpen. And then right before I'm going to go out, we'll go through the three guys I'm going to face, and we'll kind of talk through a quick little game plan. And then by then it's go time. And I'm trusting the catcher too, because he's been out there for 8 innings, and he's reading swings, he's reading guys' tendencies, and he knows what my stuff's going to play. So that's something that at the end of the day, it's whatever pitch he calls is. I think I can throw any of my pitches at any time. So I think, and that's the biggest thing. Even if it's the right or wrong pitch, if I believe it's the right pitch, then it's the right pitch.
That's exactly right.
It's having that confidence and conviction in it, and just yes, I'm just gonna let it rip, and you're getting my best stuff, and if you can hit it, hit it. But more often than not, I feel like that works in the pitcher's favor. Just having that conviction. I think in my opinion, I think the hitters can feel that. They can tell whenever you're timid, and you're, and then they also know whenever you're going right after them, and it's a different AB for sure.
All right, so now philosophy here. Pirates tried it a couple years ago. I think you're involved. Other teams have tried it. The closer, he's the guy's looking for the hardest 3 outs. We're going to put him in if we need to, get the last out of the 7th, the first couple outs of the 8th, depending on what the lineup is. I mean, teams have tried it, but David and Michael, I haven't seen it actually truly succeed. And usually, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, it always ends up going back to that one guy to get that last 3 outs, regardless of what that lineup looks like. Is that true?
I think
and And what is it about those 3 outs, by the way? Why are those so tough? The last 3. What is it?
Century of getting those 3 outs. That's why it's different. Like I've seen guys be great in the 8th inning and fall apart in the 9th. And back there behind the plate, we have to get creative. But like I think more than anything, Bednar, you can correct me because you actually closed the game. But I look at the personality of the guy. Can he handle different things? If he's high strung, there's a great chance that anxiety level really creeps up in that last 3 outs. It doesn't matter.
I mean, there are guys that are tremendous setup guys.
Right. And then they go to
and
close.
they're tried in the 9th and it doesn't work.
Because they try to be something they're not instead of just being who they are.
Is that what it is, David?
I think there's something to be said with the routine.
Yeah.
His routine changes as soon as you throw him in a different role. And if he's done the same thing over and over again, that's what he's used to, especially the setup guy. You're kind of throwing him out there and saying, good luck. Like, this is all different for you all at once. So, like, he kept saying,
so wild.
I learned, I grew, I learned, I watched, I grew. I think now he could adapt, but early on, it's really tough. But, I mean, he's 4 years in. It's probably a little different, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you hit on it too. It's the routine aspect of it too. It's okay. You're always throwing this, like, you have your 7th inning guy, you have your 8th, and you have your 9th. And, I think there's certainly spots that, the game's different. Like somebody might be down, and you're always going to have those spots. But I think my mindset's always whatever you're going to give me the ball, I'll take that. I'll take the rock.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think there's definitely that comfort factor of knowing, okay, no matter what, if it's a tight game, I have the 7th, I have the 8th, I have the 9th, and you see some other teams like in division. I think of. Whenever the Brewers still had Hader, I think of that Boxberger, Williams, Hader connection. No matter what, it was always that.
Well, didn't the Pirates have the last 3 innings locked down in 13 foot, like Watson?
I would say it came close to
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Yeah, what was that? Melanson?
It was Watson, Melanson, Grilly.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it was really
That's
good.
right.
I'll say right now, I think we have a version of that now with Majinski, Holderman,
Yeah.
and
That's what it
Bednar.
looks like they're molding
Yeah,
us
and
into
what
now.
I love about it is, same as those 3 guys, they're all different.
Yeah.
You have a short arm with Majinski, really, really sharp slider, a lot of life at the top. Then you bring in the nasty sinker with the
Demon
hold.
sinker.
Demon sinker.
Demon.
And I saw that
Demon Brunswick.
new sweeper that he's been working on. It looks amazing. And then you bring
Nasty.
Bednar in, who's honestly, in my opinion, enigma.
Yeah.
Because he throws a bowling ball fastball and has feel with the breaking ball, and then throws a sliding splitter,
Yeah.
which you can't teach. It's like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pitch. That's what it is. Like, it's awesome. It's absolutely
Changing it from the Renegade to the Ninja Turtle.
I would say
Ninja
that's our big.
Turtle.
I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. Going into 2024, when I look at our team, the biggest strength we have is our bullpen, and I think it morphed around. You and Holderman really got close. I saw a lot of what I saw when I was here in 11, 12, and 13, where that was our strength. And there's no better feeling than if you can get that ball to the bullpen in the 7th, you know that game's probably 99% over. Unless something weird happens.
If you have a lead through 6 innings, good
you feel
chance you're gonna win
really
this
good
ball
about
game.
it.
Yeah.
Because you're bringing out the juggernauts.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to just watch all those guys. Like each year just makes a huge difference in just confidence, getting your feet wet. I mean, especially for a guy like Carmen who just debuted last year, and just how much he was able to kind of progress throughout the year and start to handle those innings, and you're able to see him handle some adversity too. And what comes to mind is that Reds game where they had the big comeback, and I think I was down that day, but just seeing him that poise, and he had some traffic on the bases, but those are the ones where it's like it's not always the clean 1, 2, 3s. You learn a lot about somebody, but it's sometimes those gritty outings where it's your stuff's not quite there. You have a little bad luck, some bleeders, and then. But no, that one was probably one of the more impressive ones to watch for me. Is that dealing with those guys on the bases and digging deep in a tough game, and in a game that the Reds probably needed to win too, because that was kind of down the stretch.
How close do you guys get as the year goes on? So we talked about those last 3. And then you add some crazy guys like Big Bank, Moreta. How about that? How about him pulling out a $20? Did you see it, by the way?
Electric, unbelievable.
Did you see him pull out a $20 bill?
We thought
That's why I want him. Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Last out.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Bank.
That thing that he throws, outrageous.
It's
a
gyro
slider,
backup slider.
We call that
He's
sucker.
perfected the pitch nobody can hit.
It's unbelievable.
It's unreal.
It's nasty.
I thought it was a changeup entire spring training. I was like, wait, no, that's a slider.
It kind of looks like Devin Williams changeup in a sense.
It kind of does. It really does. It
But it's a slider.
spins.
It
It spins.
spins.
It just goes
It looks like it's going to catch and go
It
the
never
normal way,
catches.
but then it keeps going.
like you walk back, you're like, what just happened?
What
He
is
just
that?
threw an alien at me. I don't know what to do.
And you just see
Yeah.
this guy
Yeah, and
walking
he's
off
walking,
the
he's
mound.
It's outstanding.
You got him. You got Baraki.
Oh, man. He's
I mean, talking about
He's
a guy
a-
to take the ball anytime.
literally take the ball every single day, and how he just goes about it, and just
From the left
it's
side.
like, you know what, he's a dog too. So it's like we got a bunch of guys down there, and Mess does a great job of keeping it loose and keeping everybody informed, and just the camaraderie that we have. It's a really tight knit group, and I think that's incredibly special, especially whenever you're picking up somebody's runs. If you guys are boys, and it just has that little extra, like, I got to help my guy out. I think that also carries over. Like, the pitching staff as a whole is really really tight knit group, and like I said, like, guy on second and third, one out, and it's like, okay, I gotta go shove up for my guy, and obviously to help the team win, but it's a little bit deeper than that too. So it's I can't say enough about that group that we have down there. Not only is everybody incredibly talented with the arms that we have, it's the group as a whole is just a lot of just good dudes and just awesome.
Now we gotta. I hesitate to say anything about nicknames. I know how much Fort loves them, but we got, in terms of a name for the bullpen, we gotta let it be organic.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
We're not gonna. We can't
we
force.
can't
anything.
force anything.
Can't
You just
force
gotta let
anything.
it happen.
Yeah.
And so
the
whatever
Shark
happens,
Tank is an
happens.
unbelievable one.
Shark Tank was good.
Yeah, it was really
It-
good.
it'll
But that had
come.
a lot to do with, I think, with Melanson went on some trip one winter.
He loved Shark Week.
Yeah.
He loved Shark Week.
And then he
And
went
it
out
just
on
caught.
some
That's how it
trip,
happened.
That's how it all started.
Yeah.
They were all watching Shark Week, and
Yeah.
it just caught on.
and he kind of looked like a shark.
yeah
So, Shark Tank.
works. Yeah, it's wild.
What about
Whatever it takes.
David? We're here at Burn by Rocky Patel, joined the number 6. This is Hold My Cutter.
Oh yeah, Honduras.
The beautiful with Nicaraguan, Honduran binder and filler, medium body cigar.
Makes me laugh every time you say that.
But what about, does one save stand out in your Pirates career so far? I know the first one was big at PNC Park and all, but anything in particular is all kind of.
No, there's definitely a couple little bigger ones. I mean, just this past year, though, the one that stuck out the most was the one on my bobblehead night.
Oh,
So
what a bobblehead too. Plays the song.
Plays the song.
Are you kidding me?
Outrageous.
It's awesome.
How many of those did you get? Were you able to get
We
a
were-
couple
they were
boxes?
able to hook us up with a
Good.
couple, Yeah,
Okay.
so hold on to those for a little while. But no, that was really cool in just so many aspects. I had a bunch of family and friends come in. My parents, Casey's parents, helped set up a big tailgate. They ran out the Skull Bar in right field.
yeah.
So that we probably had like 100, 150 people there.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And obviously I was hoping to pitch that night, and it ends up being a close game. And coming in the 8th, and Renegade plays, and that was like one of the first times they did the light show thing too. So that was just awesome. And then get through the 8th, and then 9th gets a little hairy with the 1-run lead, and then get a big double play to end it. Was just unbelievable.
It's hard to script that, by the way. It's your bobblehead is one thing if you're in the starting lineup, a regular player, McCutcheon. Okay,
Yep.
he's going to
Yeah.
play. Another thing is a pitcher. It's hard.
It
get
is.
that, but it
What
worked
about-
out beautifully.
What about opening day last year?
Oh,
40,000 people.
blackout.
Yeah,
It's
the blackout. Kutch is
Chills.
back. AJ comes in. Russ comes in. You being a fan, that had to be special, one. And two, like, we won the game in a fantastic manner.
Oh yeah,
Was
absolutely.
that just something to like what'd you guys say when you went back into the clubhouse? Like,
that was awesome.
Just in awe a
yeah.
little bit?
I mean, obviously, I was beside myself because the blackout, that Cueto game.
Mhm.
Just
did you go to that game?
no, I was a freshman in college, and I didn't come back for it. I wish I did. We had like baseball. The
Don't
next
worry,
day.
you'll have your moment. I, believe it's
mean,
coming.
That crowd was really special, and just seeing the reaction to Kutch was just so cool. I mean, just what he means to the Pirates, what he means to the city is just and for him to have that ovation, just that the whole moment was just so cool. And
Yeah.
I made sure I stuck around in the dugout to watch that
Good for you.
first AB.
Good for you.
There's no way I
Yeah.
was gonna not miss that. But no, that was really cool. The blackout. Just what an awesome experience, and hopefully we got some more moments like that coming here soon.
I think I really believed it when they signed him last year. I thought I was thinking ahead to opening day and wondering. You certainly understood it, but too many people who were new to the organization, front office, players alike, didn't have a clue what was going to happen. We kind of did.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh showed out.
And I'm thinking,
absolutely.
like these guys don't realize when you guys are on that foul line and his name is introduced onto the foul line. Wait till you see it, awesome. And then when he gets introduced for his first at bat,
then he gets a hit too.
With tears in his eyes.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it's so crazy.
And you, I think I read you were like 13 years old. I think in Mount Lebanon, T-ball. And he showed up for some. You had a picture taken with him. You're like 13 years old.
Yeah, it was. He was doing like one of those camps. I forget even where it was, but they needed like some help, people to like help run it and everything like that. So my dad, being a coach, like he got invited to help, and I tagged along, and it was like a younger kids clinic or whatever. But at the end, we all got to take a picture like with our like little group with Kutch, and so I made sure to show him that picture as soon as he signed back.
Something I love about you and something I take a lot of pride in is getting out in the community. Mm-hmm. You've dominated it, and
2-time Roberto Clemente
Award. Yeah, well deserved. Like, what pushes you to that? Is it not necessarily just because you're from here, right? You just love getting out, giving back, and it fires me up every time. Like, I know when something's going on, I'm probably going to see your face. You and the parrot are just about inseparable at times.
No, it's a no-brainer for me, honestly. I think it's I was fortunate to both my parents really kind of pushed that, and throughout my whole life they've always been about giving back, and so having those role models, and now my wife is all about it as well. So it's like, having that support group and that are like have that same common goal. And I think for me, it's just, I'm just so beyond fortunate to be in this position. Not only just playing professional baseball, but playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates in my hometown. So, and it, why not give back? It's too awesome to not give back and spread the love. And, we're so fortunate that Pittsburgh's such an amazing city, and they come out and support us. So any chance that we have to give back, just a little bit. And I just think of whenever I was a young kid playing baseball, and somebody in a Pirate uniform would show up. I don't even know who. It wouldn't even matter. But like if the Pirate Parrot and somebody showed up, how pumped up that would make me. And so that's kind of just that kind of plus one. And all it takes is just having one impact, and that's makes it all worth it.
Man, that's just the half of it. Hold my cutter. Can you hold your cutter? Hold my cutter with David Bednar. There's one cutter, and there's the baseball. Oh, how would you hold your cutter?
Yeah, how would you throw a cutter?
Renegade?
You would have a good cutter.
Yeah. I would love to throw a cutter.
That's down the line.
You'll have one eventually. I would love to have one. I think that'd be awesome. I remember watching Melanson, being like, oh, man, I would love to have one of those.
Yeah, it was nasty.
That was, coming to games at PNC and just watching him shut games down and just dicing dudes off with a cutter, and still doing it.
Yeah, he loved to throw it, and I always reminded him how good his breaking ball was, because he would punch tickets with that thing, but he loved that cutter.
Do you know how he threw
nasty.
It?
I don't know how he threw it. I don't remember.
I want to ask him.
But it's a similar thought process. You find the grip you like and you rip it. It's just you let that last finger touch it.
There it is. Hold my cutter.
That's it.